Welcome back to Whispers from the Walls. You know, when we talk about rock legends, names like Eddie Van Halen immediately spring to mind. We picture him on stage, guitar slung low, a whirlwind of sound and energy, inventing techniques that nobody thought possible. It's almost as if he just appeared, fully formed, a guitar god descended from the heavens. But what if I told you that before there was a guitar god, before the tapping, before the eruption, before the sound that changed rock forever, there was a woman?
Oh, I love where this is going, John. It's so easy to mythologize these figures, isn't it? To see them as singular forces of nature, forgetting all the foundational pieces that had to be in place for that genius to even have a chance to bloom.
Absolutely. It's the classic narrative, isn't it? The lone genius. But
At least spring to mind. We picture him on stage, guitar slung low, a whirlwind of sound and energy, inventing techniques that nobody thought possible. It's almost as if he just appeared, fully formed, a guitar god descended from the heavens. But what if I told you that before there was a guitar god, before the tapping, before the eruption, before the sound that changed rock forever, there was a woman?
Oh, I love where this is going, John. It's so easy to mythologize these figures, isn't it? To see them as singular forces of nature, forgetting all the foundational pieces that had to be in place for that genius to even have a chance to bloom.
absolutely. It's the classic narrative, isn't it? The lone genius. But history, real history, is almost never like that. There are always roots, always influences, often unseen hands shaping destiny.
And I think that's especially true when we talk about family, the people closest to us, those quiet heroes. Their contributions are often just absorbed into the larger story, almost invisible.
Exactly. And today, we're talking about one of those quiet heroes, a strong woman, a quiet woman, a woman history almost completely overlooks, Eugenia Van Halen. Because honestly, without her, there would be no Eddie, no Alex, no Van Halen, no revolution.
That's a bold statement, but I'm intrigued. Tell us more, John. Where does her story begin?
Her story begins in a place we now know as Indonesia, but back then, it was the Dutch East Indies. Eugenia was born mixed race, part Dutch, part Indonesian, at a time when the world was incredibly rigid about identity. She grew up caught between two worlds, the strict European expectations and the rich, vibrant, but heavily colonized world of Indonesia.
That's a profound cultural tension to grow up with, especially in that era. Navigating those two very different sets of norms and expectations would have been incredibly challenging, even isolating.
Yeah, and you think about how that shapes a person, right? That sense of otherness, of having to define yourself outside of neat categories. It can build immense strength or, really break you.
For Eugenia, it forged her. But through it all, there was one thing that always belonged to her. One thing nobody could take away. Music. She was a classically trained pianist. Disciplined, elegant, instinctive. Music wasn't just a hobby for her, it was a lifeline.
A lifeline. That phrase just hits different, especially when you consider what was about to happen in that part of the world. World War II, right? The Japanese occupation of Indonesia.
Exactly, Osprey. When the war began, life became an absolute fight for survival. Food was scarce, safety was unpredictable, families were torn apart. Eugenia lived through fear, hunger, instability, the kind of uncertainty that digs so deep into your bones you never fully shake it loose. Can you imagine?
It's almost incomprehensible. We talk about resilience so often, but to truly live through that kind of sustained trauma, day after day, it profoundly changes you. It hardens you, but it also clarifies what's truly important.
And to have music as that anchor, that constant in a world turned upside down. It makes so much sense that she'd cling to it, and later share it with her children. It's not just an art form, it's a form of survival, a way to process the unspeakable.
And she would need that resilience even more. After the war, the political climate in Indonesia remained incredibly volatile. Eugenia and her Dutch husband, Jan Van Halen, faced an impossible choice. They knew they couldn't give their children, Alex and Eddie, the future they deserved if they stayed.
That's the kind of decision that just weighs on you, isn't it? Leaving everything you know, your home, your culture, for the sheer hope of something better for your kids. It's the ultimate act of parental love.
It's thinking 50 years ahead, like you mentioned earlier, John, not 50 minutes. It's a gamble of monumental proportions, especially when you're literally sailing across an ocean to a completely foreign land.
So, they made that choice. In 1953, they boarded a ship to America. They arrived with almost nothing. Osh, a suitcase, $50, 2 musical children, and a mother who had already survived far more than most people ever will.
$50. That's just staggering. Imagine starting over with literally pocket change in a new country where you might not even speak the language fluently.
And America, especially in the 50s, wasn't exactly known for its welcoming embrace of immigrants, particularly those who didn't fit a very narrow cultural mold. This must have been another huge challenge for them.
You're absolutely right, Osprey. America wasn't exactly gentle. The Van Halen family moved into a tiny house in Pasadena, the kind of place where you hear every footstep, every argument, every hope ricocheting off the walls. And they faced blunt discrimination. Eugenia was Indonesian, Jan was Dutch, the boys were mixed race. 1953 America was not subtle about letting you know when you did not fit the neighborhood.
That's a crucial context. We often gloss over the social realities faced by immigrant families in the past. It wasn't just about economic struggle. It was about navigating a society that actively pushed back against difference.
So, while Jan, the father, was a musician taking whatever gigs he could, Eugenia really became the rock of the family, didn't she? The primary provider and protector.
Precisely. While Jan picked up whatever gigs he could, Eugenia cleaned houses, took odd jobs, and stretched every dollar like magic. She cooked meals out of nothing, made secondhand clothes look brand new. She kept that little house warm with more love than heat. But here's the thing about Eugenia. She didn't just survive, she kept the music alive.
That's it, that's the through line, isn't it? From her childhood trauma to their arrival in America, music is the constant. It's truly inspiring, almost defiant, that in all that hardship, she still found a way to prioritize art.
And she did it against incredible odds. I mean, they had $50 to their name. How do you even begin to afford a piano in that situation? It speaks volumes about her determination and belief in the power of music.
Nobody knows exactly how, but she found a way to buy a piano. And she insisted the boys learn classical music first. Discipline before chaos. Technique before distortion. So, in that cramped Pasadena living room, 2 little boys sat on a bench while their mother taught them the language of sound.
Wow, that's such a powerful image. And it really puts Eddie's later genius into perspective. We always think of him as this wild, untamed force, but the foundation was rigorous classical training from his mother.
And you can see how that played out, right? Alex leaned into the rhythm, the structure. Eddie leaned into the emotion, the feeling, the expression, both essential, both rooted in that initial classical discipline.
Exactly. And Eddie was painfully shy. The kind of shy where you avoid eye contact because it feels like too much. But music? Music didn't ask him questions. Music didn't judge him. Music didn't care that English wasn't his first language. Music spoke to him before he could speak to the world.
That's a profound insight into his character. For someone that introverted, music becomes an outlet, a voice where words fail. It's a safe space for expression.
And his mother saw that. She truly saw him. That's a gift, a powerful validation for a shy child to have a parent who understands and nurtures that unique way of communicating.
She encouraged him, even when he switched from piano to drums, and then Alex stole the drums, so Eddie grabbed a guitar instead. She didn't scold. She didn't doubt. She didn't push them towards something practical. She let them follow the spark.
That's huge, particularly for an immigrant mother who has faced so much hardship. You'd expect her to push for stability, for a more traditional path. But she chose to foster their passion, which is incredibly progressive, even for today.
It shows a deep understanding of her children's individual spirits and a trust in their artistic inclinations. It's the ultimate example of parental support, even when the path is unconventional and fraught with risk.
By the time the boys were teenagers, their neighborhood band was gaining momentum. Pasadena clubs, backyard parties, small stage chaos, the kind of grind that bruises your ego and tests your faith. And through all of it, Eugenia kept cheering them on, a soft voice in a hard world.
It's hard to imagine the sheer volume of noise, the late nights, the constant disruptions that come with 2 teenagers in a rock band practicing in a small house. And yet, she was their biggest fan.
That soft voice in a hard world line really resonates. She was the calm at the center of their growing storm, providing that grounding even as their lives were getting louder and more chaotic.
And then, of course, Van Halen hit. 1978. Their debut album exploded. Eddie became the man every guitarist wanted to be. Alex became one of the greatest rock drummers alive. And suddenly, the sons of an immigrant cleaning woman and a struggling Dutch musician were reshaping the entire rock landscape.
The contrast is just incredible, isn't it? From that tiny house in Pasadena with $50 and a piano, to selling millions of records and headlining stadiums, it's a testament to raw talent, yes, but also to that unbreakable foundation.
People always ask, where did Eddie's genius come from? Where did that emotional fire, that discipline, that sensitivity to sound come from? And honestly, after hearing Eugenia's story, it feels like the answer is staring us right in the face.
Listen closely, because it's not just talent. It's heritage, it's survival, it's Eugenia. The way he played, the lyricism, the precision, the emotion that came straight from the classical training she forced him to stick with.
It's the discipline of the classical piano infused with the raw energy of rock and roll. You can almost hear her lessons in his structured chaos, in the way he understood harmony and melody even as he was tearing it all apart.
And the way he turned pain into sound, that came from watching a mother endure without breaking. Think about the emotional depth in some of his solos, the sheer catharsis. That's not just technical skill, that's something forged in hardship.
And the way he approached guitar like a scientist, experimenting, pushing boundaries, almost reverse engineering what a guitar could do. That came from her quiet intelligence, her resourcefulness, her ability to make something out of nothing.
Eugenia raised her sons to work harder than anyone else because she had worked harder than everyone else. She is the reason those boys had instruments. She is the reason they practiced. She is the reason their roots were strong enough to survive the storm of fame.
It makes you wonder, if she hadn't made those sacrifices, if she hadn't insisted on that classical training, would we have had the Eddie Van Halen we know? It feels like all those threads converge to create something truly unique.
It's the ultimate example of how nurturing foundational skills can lead to revolutionary innovation. Without that initial structure, the genius might have been present, but perhaps lacked the framework to truly explode onto the scene in the way it did.
And when Van Halen became famous, Eugenia didn't take credit. She stayed humble, she stayed quiet, she cheered them on from the sidelines. Proud, tender, steady. She was the anchor that never sought the spotlight.
That's the mark of a truly selfless parent, isn't it? To see your children achieve greatness, knowing you played a vital part, but letting their light shine without trying to capture any for yourself.
It's a beautiful image. This quiet, strong woman who survived so much, found joy and purpose in music, and then poured all that strength into her sons, only to step back and watch them conquer the world. What a legacy.
Eddie Van Halen didn't just inherit music, he inherited his mother's resilience. And her legacy? It lives in every riff, every solo, every note that made history. Behind the loudest band on earth stood one of the quietest heroes rock ever had. Her name was Eugenia Van Halen, and she raised a revolution.
What an incredible story, John. It truly makes you think about all the unsung heroes behind every great figure.
Absolutely. It's a powerful reminder that genius rarely exists in a vacuum. It's often cultivated, supported, and nurtured by the quiet strength of others.
Thank you for sharing Eugenia's story with us, John. It's one that deserves to be heard and remembered with every soaring guitar solo.
My pleasure, everyone, and thank you for joining us on Whispers from the Walls. Remember to look for the quiet stories, because sometimes the most revolutionary sounds come from the deepest roots. We'll catch you next time.